It was really fascinating to watch. And then when Jill felt she'd followed the nervous system enough, because that's what she does with humans who are paralyzed or have problems with the nervous system. She kind of follows it and helps the body begin to heal itself. When she felt that she got into a place where it was enough, she started to pull her energy back, and Apricot pulled out of it and looked around, like, where was I? And then she explored the yurt. And this happened 4 times we've had Jill here now. And each time Apricot just goes into this deep trance. And interestingly enough, last time we left her in her enclosure. For various reasons, we decided to do that. And as Apricot was getting a treatment and settling in, all the other wolves started to lie down in about the same position, and it felt like they're all getting this energy treatment. It was just fascinating. In any case, we have quite a few healing stories. We had a paralyzed grizzly bear that someone helped with energy. Many, many stories. That was the only one I filmed from the beginning.
Wow. Are you on a cordless phone right now?
Oh, yes, I am.
Can you open the door? That is so beautiful. Can you?
Yeah, I can.
Because they're going to sing for us in a minute, aren't they?
They go in and out, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Or I can just
I'm listening to them. They're gorgeous.
Some birds singing, too. We can talk in those phones.
Yeah. The calling that you have, when did this begin?
Well, I remember loving animals ever since I came into consciousness. So, and I remember having a discussion with my mother. I was probably 5 or 6 years old, asking why animals didn't have the same rights as humans, because it seemed natural to me. And I always loved nature. This particular thing was probably, I met a cat when I was about 25 or so. I didn't even specially love cats. I just liked all animals, but I didn't have a connection with cats. And this scrawny, half-starved little, probably 6-week-old kitten who someone, I think, probably threw off out of a car, walked his way up into a farm I was renting in Kentucky. And, of course, I took care of it because it was an animal. And it took me took him about 12 hours before he was, of course, on my belly in the bed purring. And that was that. And he began to really open my heart. And if I could trace it back, it's like been a constant opening since then. And then I always loved wolves, but I thought, you can't have a wolf. And then I heard way back when of a woman who was starting to breed wolves and dogs. That was the beginning of it at that time. I thought, maybe I could have a half-wolf. And I did. And I made a total commitment to him because, as I said then, they're not wolves and they're not dogs, and sometimes they don't know quite what they are. And I said, he's never being left alone. He's going to be with me for his lifetime. And he went up to Wall Street boardrooms. He went everywhere because I wouldn't go without him. If people wanted me, he came.
I love it.
And it was a 15-year total, complete love affair. And it just continued. And at that time, I went to meet everyone in the country who had a wolf dog, because maybe there were 10 of them. And in the process, I met my partner. And it was very clear then to us very quickly that he was able, because he used to train wild animals for movies and train them by love and reward and observation and understanding. And it became very clear very quickly that he could handle these animals for people, and I could teach about them. And there was no choice. Neither of us had a choice. It was simply going to happen. And so we looked for some land, which we couldn't afford, but here we are, some 12 years later.
Wow. Did you have to prepare the land a particular way, or did you just find something that was suitable? Because you have a lot of animals now, right?
Yeah. So the land was simply wild sagebrush field and aspen groves facing the Grand Tetons, which I'm looking at right now. So it was nothing. We literally had to build a bridge to get to the land. And Jean, my partner, built everything, from the wells to the electricity to everything. So everything here has been hand-built with love. Never enough money, but with lots of love.
The best way. And I understand you have a retreat center, too. Now, talk a little bit about this retreat center, Susan.
Well, we give a lot of thought to. We have these incredible animals that can never be released, that we have a deep relationship with, and who have learned to be comfortable with humans. And I don't know of another, maybe there are some, but I don't know of another place that has quite that combination of things, so that people can actually go into the wildlife garden with the animals. And it's not like we're taking them to schools, but they're actually meeting them on their own terms. And we're trying to think, what's the best use for this? We can't be open to the general public because we're not a zoo and we're not set up that way, and we wouldn't do that to the animals. But what we could do is have small groups of people who are committed to the animals or the environment come here, have the experience that almost universally people say either it blew them away, it changed their life, they'll never think of things the same way. It's very profound. And then these people could go out into their professions, be it art or education or business people doing responsible corporations or planners, and take the impact of these animals out into their fields. And that would be the best way, we thought, to give voice to what the animals are trying to say about how we can live on Earth together. So we decided a retreat center would be it, where we could have small groups of people come and really experience the animals, and then not come for themselves, though that's part of it and an important part of it, but also come with the idea of what they can give back.
How small is the group, for example, that's appropriate for this retreat center?
Well, we had an animal communication retreat, and that was 26 people, and that was probably too large for us, I think, for what we wanted. So 15 is ideal.
Okay.
We did... we had a possibility of a Tibetan Buddhist Rinpoche at a very high level, just below the Dalai Lama, come. And at that point, we said we really need to make this as available to as many people as we can, and we squeezed 45 people into the yurt. But that was for 2 hours, and we don't want to do that very often. So he came to talk about the Tibetan Buddhist way of relating to animals.
That would be an interesting talk.
Yeah, we actually have had a film made of it. It's being edited now.
Will we be able to buy that film? It will be on DVD? Yes. Fabulous.
Yes, we'll have clips of it on the website, and people can buy it.
That's great. Now, can we talk about one of your bears?
Talk about all of them. They're all wonderful. We have Humble Bumble Bear.
Humble Bumble, yeah. Let's talk about Humble Bumble Bear.
This is a bear who's got a very special gift of melting everybody's heart who sees him. He was born in a roadside zoo, which closed down, and we don't know what happened to him. All we know is by the time we got him, he was still little, and we were still bottle feeding him. He would lie absolutely rigid in our arms like a catatonic, and his eyes would be bugging out of his head and be sucking and sucking and sucking on the bottle and unable to get anything down, terrorized of being dropped. And it took us forever to begin to ease him. And he grew up into just the most unbelievably sweet thing. He reminds me a little bit of Lenny and of Mice and Men. He's huge. He doesn't know his own strength, but there's no aggression in him at all. And what's really interesting is almost like this is what's underneath animals when the fear or the aggression is taken out through a hit on the head or whatever reason. It's not like he's hit on the head and the aggression is gone and there's nothing there. There's unbelievable sweetness there. And it makes you think what might be there in all wild animals if they weren't so hardwired necessarily for survival.
Right.
And that's what happens in a wildlife garden, too. They don't have to survive. So they can relax and they can be playful and they can be interested in us and interested in each other. And it's really quite remarkable.
I watched the video of Humble Bumble and the dog.
Oh, yes, Boychuk.
That was darling.
See, he's not quite coordinated. He's like a learning disabled kid, you know. He's not too coordinated, and he's very emotional, and things scare him a lot. And if he gets all worked up or scared, he'll bounce up and down in a corner like an autistic kid bouncing up and down. But, you know, all our other bears hibernate. And Humble Bumble, if anyone comes to visit, he's out of there to come and visit. He's just so social.
How adorable.
A large, adorable grizzly bear, yes.
Let's talk about Major Bear for a moment.